Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There's a saying that the truth can be troubled, but it can never be defeated. And the alleged torchbearers of truth appear to be on the back foot today, in fact, on the wrong side of truth. Why am I saying this? Because the country's top court, while denying bail to former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia for the 6th time today, said that the investigation agencies had tentatively established rupees 338 crore money trail in the liquor policy scam case. The Supreme Court today observed that certain aspects of the case were doubtful, but one aspect with regard to the transfer of rupees 338 crore tentatively could be substantiated with material. The court's observation today came as a shot in the arm for the agencies who've claimed that Sisodia is the key conspirator in the liquor policy case and had acquired and concealed the proceeds of crime. This has now triggered a mega war of words. But before we go across to that, I want to show you the observations of the Supreme Court. Let's go to the first observation here. And this is what the Supreme Court has said. In a period of about 10 months, during which the new excise policy was in operation, the wholesale distributors had earned 581 crore rupees. 581 crore rupees had been earned in the first 10 months. This, again, on page 33, it says is because the commission rate went up from 5% under the old policy to 12% under the new policy. A conspiracy was hatched to carefully draft the new policy. Drafting of the new policy is the conspiracy that the Supreme Court order talks about on page 33. And then when it concludes, it says the excess amount of 7%, which is 5% commission raised to 12%. It says 7% commission earned by the wholesale distributors of 338 crores, which is part of the first charge sheet, constitutes an offense under the Prevention of Corruption Act. And it says that this is relating to a public servant being bribed. And it goes on to say the new excise policy was meant to give windfall gains to select few wholesale distributors who in turn had agreed to give kickbacks and bribes. Kickbacks and bribes were given because a few people were allowed to make windfall gains. Clearly, the Supreme Court making it difficult not just for Manish Sisodia but also Sanjay Singh, who is in jail. And of course, the politics was very natural to follow. Listen in.
ईडी के अपने आरोपों में भी मनीष सिसोदिया के पास कोई भी पैसा पहुंचते हुए वो नहीं दिखा रहे हैं। और ये 338 करोड़ का मनीष सिसोदिया जी के साथ क्या लिंक है, इसको भी एक बारी ऑर्डर देख के समझना पड़ेगा। कोई भी सबूत साबित नहीं होगा, क्योंकि आम आदमी पार्टी ने ना आज तक 1 रुपए का भ्रष्टाचार किया है, ना करेगी।
अब उनकी पार्टी के लाल और जवाहरात जितने भी हैं वो अभी फिलहाल हवालात में हैं। पिछली सर्दी से इस सर्दी का मौसम आ गया, इस दरमियान 6 बार उनकी बेल एप्लीकेशन रिजेक्ट हुई है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑब्जर्वेशन को देखेंगे तो उसमें सिर्फ जमानत याचिका खारिज नहीं की गई है, बल्कि 338 करोड़ रुपए प्रथम दृष्टया स्थापित होते हुए दिख रहे हैं।
Now, ED, this is now becoming a common factor in Indian politics, that use central agencies as political tool to suppress or to attack the opposition leaders, they are on the behest of the party who are ruling the central government.
Now the Supreme Court has also denied bail to Qattar corrupt Manish Sisodia, and today all the defenses of the Aam Aadmi Party fall flat on their face. Is it not true that Mr. Kejriwal owes a resignation immediately because he has been defending those who are the most corrupt by calling them Qattar Imandar?
Well, it's not just the Aam Aadmi Party. In fact, in recent times, it's also Mahua Moitra of the Trinamool Congress who finds herself in hot water. Mahua Moitra has been in troubled waters, and tomorrow her defamation case against advocate Jay Dehadrai and BJP Member of Parliament Nishikant Dubey comes up in courts, and of course several newspapers, television channels, etc. Because she says that in convergence of personal enmity and political vendetta, these frivolous and baseless charges had been leveled against her. The question many are asking is that the matter is now with the Ethics Committee of the Lok Sabha, but she's given interviews all over, and the one fact that she contested is that she had given her login and password to somebody else. In fact, to Darshan Hiranandani to post questions on her behalf from her email account to Parliament. A fact that has been agreed by Darshan Hiranandani in an affidavit and in an interview to me, but still Mahua Moitra questioned the fact that this was done under duress by pressure from the Prime Minister's officer. And now MEA, we understand, our sources tell us, has submitted to the ethics panel that no such proof of pressure has been there. And in fact, they've given their findings to the ethics committee, which has clearly stated that without any pressure, Darshan Hiranandani himself contacted the consulate and went and signed his affidavit in front of the designated officer. In fact, questions are now being raised about quid pro quo and questions of watches, home renovation, all kinds of things, all the gifts that have been given, whether this also continues. Add to the Trinamool Congress's misery is the fact that Partha Chatterjee also had said the same thing, but he continues to be in jail. And clearly at this point of time, none of the opposition parties have been able to prove that this is really a result of any vendetta. Listen in to what Darshan Hiranandani had said and what has been upheld by the ME. She had raised questions about your affidavit. First, she raised the question about the fact that it was on plain paper. Since then, of course, it's been notarized. She's also made some allegations about how this affidavit has been signed and written by you under duress. I want to ask you, Mr. Darshan Hiranandani, have you given this affidavit under duress?
Navika, the affidavit is signed by me voluntarily, no fear, no favor. Testimony of that is that I had it notarized at the Indian consulate in Dubai.
So you're saying Mahua Moitra is wrong when she says that this was an affidavit which was drafted in the Prime Minister's office and sent to you, and you were given 20 minutes with a gun to your head to sign it?
Navika, I can only say that this was clearly drafted by my lawyers based on my statement. Since I'm in Dubai, I had it notarized in the Indian consulate in Dubai. Then I sent it to the Privilege Committee of Lok Sabha and copied to CBI and Dr. Nishikant Dubey by email.
So the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight, has opposition's defense of vendetta crumbled? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me tonight, Nalin Kohli, national spokesperson of the BJP, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate, Tausif Ahmed Khan, lawyer and political analyst, Sanjay Jha, author and suspended Congress leader, Ravi Srivastava, political analyst, supports the Aam Aadmi Party. But my first question goes tonight to my friend and author, scientist, call him what you will, Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, today, what would Arvind Kejriwal be thinking? Is the noose tightening around the Aam Aadmi Party and questions have been raised about Mr. Arvind Kejriwal himself and what happens to the Kattar Imandar, all those certificates given that a Bharat Ratna should be given to Manish Sisodia. He's the Bhagat Singh of India. What happens to all of those arguments after this order from the Supreme Court, which clearly says tentatively there is proceeds of crime and tentatively there is something that they found in the money trail, which also goes against the Prevention of Corruption Act?
Good evening, Navika. I think he's thinking of paraphrasing that famous ad, "Khoob jamega rang jab mil baithenge teen yaar in Tihar, Satinder, Sisodia or Kejriwal." No, but I don't know what he's thinking seriously, but what I'm thinking I want to tell you, that is I want to congratulate you, or should I say NBI, Navika Bureau of Investigation, because in both these cases, you were the first one who actually spilled the beans. Specifically on the second one that I'll come to a bit later on Ms. Mahua Moitra, but on Sisodia, you were the first one to actually talk about not only the Sheesh Mahal, but also Mr. Sisodia's wrongdoings and why he was repeatedly being denied bail. So as I see it, there are two issues, and I'm going to discuss both very briefly. Number one, on Mr. Sisodia, or specifically Navika, the alleged corruption and mismanagement because of the liquor policy under the watchful gaze, shall we say, of Mr. Manish Sisodia. Let me give you the facts, and facts alone, on the charges related to the excise policy that, by the way, as you rightly put it, our government suddenly reversed. Now, Supreme Court order specifically mentions there was conspiracy on drafting new excise policy. Why would it do so? Is it under pressure by the BJP or under pressure of Mr. Modi? And Supreme Court order further states it was meant to help those who gave kickbacks and bribes. There is prima facie violation of the GNCTD Act 1991, Transaction of Business Rules 1993, Delhi Excise Act 2009, Delhi Excise Rules 2010. Worse, there was financial quid pro quo at the top political level wherein major decisions in violation of the statutory provisions were taken. There were also, quote, deliberate and gross procedural lapses, unquote, to provide post-tender undue benefits to liquor licensees. Excise Department gave a waiver of 144 crores to the licensees on the tendered license fee in gross violation of Rule 4811B of the Delhi Excise Rules 2010. Also, Excise Department revised the formula of calculation of rates of foreign liquor without approval of the competent authority. Mr. Sisodia's closest aide has turned an approver. Yeah, aur kahan hota hai, Navika? Has court not rejected Sisodia's bail repeatedly? These facts don't universally see the light of day. Let me be very honest. You know why? Because our government ad spending has increased by 4,273% over the last 10 years. Last year, they spent 488 crores on ads. By the way, did Aam Aadmi Party not arrest a Congress MLA 3 weeks ago on a case that the Supreme Court had itself squashed? And the Congress MLA was arrested based on investigations carried on by the same ED. There, it said, let law take its course. So Aam Aadmi Party is the Alcatraz from where logic managed to escape and swim to the safety dead of the night. Navika, there is no other explanation. Finally, just 30 seconds, I want to turn my attention to the other matter. Now, you will see the events unfold in the next maybe a week or maybe less than that. Miss Mahua Moitra is singing like a canary who loves Rabindra Sangeet. She's already spilled out the beans in addition to what you had extracted from Mr. Darshan, that yes, she gave the login and password. That is a legitimate criminal offense. It carries a punishment of 3 years. What are we talking about here? And as far as her explanation, that she gave the password and also asked the questions to be uploaded. If you believe that, then you believe, Navika, that one can cure baldness by rubbing one's nails.
Well, I don't know about baldness. All I know is the Navika Bureau of Investigation has only earned me boycott of 14 political parties, but that may be as it is. But let me ask Ravi Srivastava ji. Ravi Srivastava ji, 338 crore out of the 581 crores, the Supreme Court says, ये तो है ही proceed of crimes, इसमें conspiracy भी है. Now, 128 crores out of this has provisionally already been attached by the ED. Now, this is a CBI matter in front of the Supreme Court. And in this CBI matter, the Supreme Court for the 6th time has denied any bail. Now, at least, Kattar Imandar wala certificate should be put aside, I assume. Number one. Number two, the question I want to ask you. the whole matter relates to the fact that windfall gains were allowed to be made by wholesalers in this case. The wholesalers drafted a policy. That policy was okayed by the minister, and then that policy has given such windfall gains. What more do you want to be proved when you say what is the role of Sisodia?
First of all, your definition of windfall is subjective. If somebody makes profit, legally by charging a price, I don't think it's a crime.
Not my words,
and
sir.
If it's a crime,
not my
then
words,
Mr.
sir.
Ambani,
The
Mr.
Supreme
Adani,
Court has
Mr.
said
Modi,
this. मेरे words तो आप छोड़ ही दीजिए. Supreme Court has used the word windfall gains, my friend. Please don't boycott me for this.
Can I continue?
Yes, but I will have to correct you.
No, please. Can I continue?
You can continue, but windfall
you
is not my word. I am quoting the Supreme Court judgment.
What I want to say, first of all, I am respecting the Supreme Court judgment. I am not denying that. But what I am saying is that I don't agree with the Supreme Court judgment. I am totally in disagreement with that. 338 crore is said to be the part of 5 to 12% profit margin to the wholesalers. It's a part of the policy. Policy is not in the review of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court cannot decide about the policy. The policy is decided by a cabinet of the government, approved by the respective LG of Delhi. So where is the question of
Navika, please clarify to him.
That's what I'm saying.
Supreme Court is saying that you reverse the...
But at the same time, Supreme Court has said, you do the trial, you finish the trial within 6 months. The matter is being deliberately dragged up to the Lok Sabha elections, so that you buy a time till such time and you malign the Aam Aadmi Party, which is what exactly the BJP ruled government is doing with the other opposition.
All right. Anand Ranganathan is countering you before I get in Nalin Kohli. Anand Ranganathan is pointing out some deficiencies in your argument. Anand Ranganathan.
Yes, now, I respect Mr. Ravi Srivastava, but
let me tell you,
it is not...
They said 100 crore charge is a matter of debate. They said 2.20 crore charge cannot be there because you are bringing after the
Navika, it is not. Navika, it was my turn.
My friend, legitimate profits को आप छोड़ दीजिए. The Supreme Court was looking at the criminal conspiracy charge. Yes. Is it or is it not, Anand Ranganathan?
Navika, Supreme Court is not looking at...
Is it reaching
Navika?
Well, Ravi Srivastava, you cannot interrupt at every word. Just hold on. Anand Ranganatha.
Yes, Navika, look, this is deliberate obfuscation by Mr. Srivastava. The Supreme Court is not doubting the fact that the excise policy was written. Of course not. The Supreme Court is doubting the fact and saying that there was a conspiracy on drafting the new excise policy.
Exactly.
Conspiracy on drafting the new excise policy. Is that clear? Shall I repeat it again? Supreme Court is not saying that people who are... Now, please. Supreme Court is not saying that there was no criminality. Supreme Court is saying the excise policy is not wrong or whoever drafted it. The point is, it was drafted meant to help those who gave kickbacks. I don't know how much more clearer you want me to be. Now,
and the Supreme Court judgment to be, but Nalin Kohli, is the Aam Aadmi Party in denial about the Supreme Court order because they remember the last 2 or 3 pages which talk about a quick trial and how they can come back, but they completely ignored the first 40 pages of the order, detailed order given by the Supreme Court? Number one question. Number two, criminality or conspiracy angle that is being talked about here is also from the fact that there are allegations that the policy was made by these wholesalers and then okayed by the government. Manish Sisodia, who's the minister, with blessings from Arvind Kejriwal. Why is the Aam Aadmi Party not wanting to recognize this? And then the third most important question, the political vendetta charge? Has it been crushed forever?
Navika ji, it's not about denial, it's about desperation. And the Aam Aadmi Party's desperation and the leadership of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, you can understand it's under challenge now in a manner as never before. He is a creation of the India Against Corruption movement in 2011-12. He is the one who then took the entire benefit of that movement, which was a collective movement of several people, and brought it around to say, I will enter politics. When he came into politics, he came with a lofty ideal that we will bring a different kind of politics with no charge of corruption. Please recall and take out those videos. हम चयन करेंगे एक candidate का. We will see that there is no corrupt candidate. People who have cases we won't take. The best governance we will give. And in his swearing in Ram Leela Maidan, he said, आप video record करिए, corruption होगा मेरे पास आइए. From where to where? His two senior ministers are in jail. One hasn't got bail for a fairly long period of time. The other one is Manish Sisodia is being denied bail by forum after forum, including the Honorable Supreme Court, where ASG Mr. Raju argued the matter consistently. Now, therefore, it raises question that if there is a denial of bail on a scam, on a policy that the Aam Aadmi Party brings in, then you have to bear in mind that prima facie, the court feels that this is not clean, as the Aam Aadmi Party keeps saying and bringing up the political vendetta charge. The courts are not run by the BJP. The courts can't be run by the BJP. They are independent, or absolutely the judiciary is. Now let's go to the next level. Mr. Kejriwal and his party has a typical approach to anything that comes. You expose Sheesh Mahal. How are approvals done? By keeping it under 10 crores, no plan sanctioned. This is his house. Now compare it to his initial statement. I don't want to shift out of my 2-bedroom house. I don't want to shift my car. The trappings of power has changed them. And they are not willing, they are in denial mode that their identity is no longer the false identity they projected in 2012. It's an identity that just reeks of corruption. As simple as that. And you ask them anything on the liquor scam or the excise scam, let's talk of education, let's talk about this, BJP is doing this, attack Prime Minister Modi. Standard formula. But don't answer the basic question. Why was the old policy scrapped? If it was scrapped, why did you not follow your own procedure? Why did you go against your procedure? Why did Mr. Sisodia, as reported in the media, take decisions exclusively at his level to ensure that people got benefits of money? And finally, when the scam came out, why did you scrap this so-called new policy, which was, according to you, the best thing that happened to Delhi, and bring back the old policy, which the Aam Aadmi Party said is worth throwing into the dustbin? Out and out, it's a scam. And therefore, I think it's not denial. This is desperation of the Aam Aadmi Party, that they are a party with no difference. They are a political party based on hypocrisy and duplicity.
Well, Sanjay Jha, let me ask you, and this is what the Supreme Court says on page 29. The appellant, Manish Sisodia, it is claimed, had deliberately destroyed the 2 mobile phones so as to prevent any investigation. Further, he had changed his mobile phone on the date which the media had covered the news of complaints sent by LG to the CBI. I would look at this, and it's been noted by the Supreme Court that, there is some nervousness there. And then the Supreme Court also talks about the fact that the agencies, it says there is a clear case that there is one clear ground or charge in the complaint filed under the PMLA Act, which is free from perceptible legal challenge, and the facts as alleged are tentatively supported by material and evidence. So they say that this is based on evidence that the PMLA Act, which is, implemented by the ED, there is enough material. This discussion is equally relevant for the charge sheet filed by the CBI under the Prevention of Corruption Act. So they've used the ED's charge sheet, they've used the CBI and found that there is prima facie a case of conspiracy, case of corruption, and it needs to go on. I want to ask you, Partha Chatterjee still in jail. Nawab Malik in jail for a long time, out only on health grounds. Satyendra Jain out on health grounds. Manish Sisodia denied bail for 6 times. And still the opposition continues singing its old song saying, oh, this is political vendetta.
Navika, before I answer your question, I have to respond to what my friend Nalin Kohli said. He talked about how Arvind Kejriwal gained on account of the agitation against the UPA of the India Against Corruption. You know, the biggest beneficiary has been the BJP. When Mr. Modi became Prime Minister and they got 284 seats on a false charge of allegation. Navika, let's go back. 1,76,000 crores, the 2G scam, thrown out of the courts in 2017. 6 years have gone, and you have a government, by the way, which is renowned for being politically vindictive. What have they done on the 2G case for 6 years? Nothing at all. So I want to tell your viewers that the BJP came to power in 2014 on false charges like Bofors. 2G was equally a false case. No evidence, nothing at all, thrown out by the courts, and no appeal has been done. There is no follow-up by the prosecution. So the hypocrisy of the BJP needs to be exposed.
Appeal is there.
Point number 2, as far as Navika...
Appeal is fine.
You're contested on facts. There is an appeal on the 2G case.
Yeah, but where has it gone? Where has it gone? We all
Ask
know
the
that.
courts.
But hang on, let me answer.
It's in the court.
The second point, Navika, very crucial here, and I would appreciate, Nalin, if I'm not interrupted. As far as the Delhi case is concerned against Sisodia and the Aam Aadmi Party, there are 2 points that I can say as an outsider looking in. Number 1, that, you know, if there is a money trail, and as a banker who worked in the manual system and saw the internet and technology come in, I can tell you this, that money trails in the age of a digital footprint and electronic payments don't take 6 months to establish, no matter how many middlemen there are. Ideally speaking, no investigating agencies, no forensic agency can find it difficult to even figure out the layers, because you'll always know whose account is
That's assuming that this money is transferred through net banking and not through cash. Nalin Kohli, is Sanjay Jha being naive?
Exactly.
Is Sanjay Jha being naive?
Exactly.
आप bribes net banking से अपने bank
Sanjay
account
Jha,
से देते हैं. You know,
respect.
Ishkaran Bhandari. You know, Dr. Sanjay Jha. Dr. Sanjay Jha, you're a clever man.
I mean, come on, Sanjay.
If there is cash, it should be visible, right?
Come on, Sanjay.
Cash should be visible.
You have to come up.
Is
What
that
about
your
the
only
15 crores
case?
that was found in
Cash
the
should be
President's
visible.
house? Was that a bank transfer?
What about cash
So now we know
being
that
promised
the
to be
Congress
used in
party has-
elections?
the Congress-
What about cash being promised to be used in elections? If that was the agreement, we don't know. We don't know.
Navika,
But
let me
Ishkaran
answer.
Bhandari.
No, Navika, I haven't finished yet. Give me my 2 minutes.
But today you're out of form, I must say. Dr. Sanjay Jha, you're out of form today. If you bat like this, even Pakistan will defeat you.
No, let me tell you, Navika, I've hit the nail on the head. If you're telling me that electronic payments are not likely to be in a corruption case, how was it then in the case of Karti Chidambaram? The case was made that his bank account got the cash. How was Karti Chidambaram harassed? Because money went through a banking transaction.
I'll tell you,
but in this
elementary, my dear Watson, the facts of every case are different. In this case, my dear Watson, there is a conspiracy charge.
Sub this at the moment.
Well, that's what I understand, but I'll hand it over to the lawyers on the panel, Nalin Kohli and Ishkaran Bhandari. Dr. Sanjay Jha's arguments, are they cogent? Are they logical?
Yes. Navika ji, I'll come to Dr. Jha's arguments, but firstly, let's not quote facts of one case, Karti Chidambaram, mix it with the facts of another case, and then come to a third case's conclusion. Every case has to stand on its own footing. So let's come to that firstly, but please understand the journey of AAP. From a political party which used to pronounce guilty verdicts based on its own information and ask for resignation, though of course they are laughing and dancing with those people later. Now they are giving clean chits even though Supreme Court is saying you have to stay in jail. And let me read one paragraph of the Supreme Court judgment, because Aam Aadmi Party, Delhi itself may be in trouble, where the Supreme Court, the paragraph of the judgment says the assertion in the complaint filed with DOE that the kickback of 100 crores, rupees 100 crore, was actually paid by the liquor group is somewhat a matter of debate. However, there is an assertion and the DOE has relied on evidence and material that a portion thereof, that is 45 crore rupees, was transferred through Hawala for Goa election and used by AAP, a political party which is a juristic person. So Navika ji, please be clear, the Supreme Court during the hearing also had observed that if the money came to AAP as a political party for Goa or from any other person, why is it not an accused? And media ran with certain headlines, which the court said we are only an interactive court, we are asking questions. But later, the counsel representing ED said we are seriously considering this. So if documents and material show that money came to a political party, we may see a political party also being added as an accused, which is something they may have to deal with, which is something the ED suggested in the court. But now coming to the facts of this case, time and again the courts have rejected bail and the courts have come to a conclusion that prima facie there is a link of around 338 crores which can be established, which is a benefit you gave, a windfall as you called it, a benefit you gave in lieu of or in anticipation of a bribe. That is why they have rejected the bail of Mr. Sisodia. Also, ED in trial court was saying that Mr. Sisodia destroyed evidences, destroyed phones, destroyed SIM cards. And Navika, I remember being on your debate where people were celebrating certain observations of the Supreme Court because they felt bail is coming. And if you can play that clip, I told that time also, court will ask various questions to all the sides representing. But let's wait for the judgment. After this judgment, it is very clear that up till Supreme Court, they believe ED has a case to keep Mr. Sisodia in jail, and in 6 to 8 months, the trial should be completed, which is always good for justice system, and then we may have a round of appeals on whatever the trial court order is. One line on Ms. Mahua Moitra also, because that's very important. Sometimes people in soft interviews, because she went on many channels, she refused to come on your channel and she tweeted your channel coordinator, your team member Saurabh asking her to come, and she was mocking him and mocking the channel for coming. So she thought she is going for soft interviews, but she's landed herself in trouble because in those interviews, she has not rejected that Mr. Hiranandani had the password, had the login. In fact, she has confirmed it. And Mr. Hiranandani was not her PA, OSD, staff, member of digital team. He was a businessman with varied interests. The minute you gave him the login, you are admitting that you gave it to an unauthorized person, and that will land her into a lot of legal trouble by her own words.
Well, clearly, yes, she's put out a private WhatsApp chat, but we have nothing to hide. Of course, we wanted to officially ask a member of parliament that if she wanted to share a part of what her defense was with us, we would happily put both sides of the story on the channel. But she's chosen to just put out a WhatsApp chat, in which case there are many such WhatsApps that Ms. Mahua Moitra has sent, which if I were to actually put out in public domain, would embarrass her more. But I'm not in the habit of putting out private WhatsApp chats out there. But the question is not about private WhatsApp chats. The question is not also about what names people call us. I'm already boycotted by all of them. What more can they do to me? Hang me? Well, I'm sitting here every day in my studios. Whoever wants can do that. But let me ask Tausif Khan. Tausif Khan, political vendetta, political vendetta. Hi, maar diya Modi ne, hi, maar diya Modi ne. Every day you say this. I want to ask you, Partha Chatterjee, not out of jail. Mahua Moitra is literally spilling her own beans herself with not much help from others. Why do you accuse other people? And Sisodia case, again political vendetta. It's all out there. My friend, these courts and these battles have to be fought in the courts of law, not in the political arena. Why is the opposition missing the woods for the trees?
You see, Ms. Mahua Moitra has been asking questions in Parliament and even on Twitter she has repeated it. And those questions are against Adani. But now you say that you are the boycotted one, Navika. If you really want to get out of the boycotted list, why don't you pick up one of the accusations. She has made several accusations against Adani. Why don't you pick up one of those stories and debate on it?
So I should be directed by Mahua
After all, it
Moitra
concerns
or
the taxpayers'
Khan
money.
on what I should do.
Are
you saying that I should be dictated by powers outside my editorial judgment to decide what I should do? Oh my God, thank you.
You know the reason.
Thanks, but no thanks. I don't need your advice. I don't need anybody's advice on what I should run on my channel.
Against Adani, and you get annoyed. Why do you get annoyed
my friend?
When a question is asked
prove
against
it in
Adani?
a court of
Why
law.
does BJP get annoyed?
Be my guest. I will carry that story. You prove it in a court of law. But I'm not taking orders from anybody.
You want to come out of the boycotted list.
Oh, so that is the carrot. That is the carrot, Nalin Kohli. If I want to come out of the boycotted list, I must actually follow what they suggest. I must follow the opposition's orders.
Yeah, present both of you.
This is absolute intimidation of media on national.
Even now she has tweeted.
This is shocking intimidation of media.
Adani has tried to reach out to her. She has tweeted it. Why don't you talk about it?
Well,
why is Adani
present. 1 minute, Tosi. Anand Ranganathan, I'm out of time, but 10 seconds. He says, present both sides of the story. When I reached out to Mahua Moitra, that's what I was crucified for, and they are saying I should present both sides of the story. When have I not?
Navika, you just gave me 10.
Airport to.
I'm lowering your fader for the moment, Tosi. I'm out of time, Anand.
Yes, Navika, let us ask Tausif Khan the other side of the story. Does Adani have continuing investments in Bengal? Answer yes or no. Answer it.
Yes or no, Tausif?
This Mr. Scientist, you see, this Mr.
बस आ गए लाइन पे
Exactly. कोई आंसर नहीं. कोई आंसर नहीं. Nalin Kohli. 30 seconds to you, Nalin Kohli. Am I now being threatened on national television that if I do the bidding of the opposition, then?
I think Navika ji, it's a recognition by them that they are missing the fact that they have scored a self-goal by ignoring your channel. That's why they are trying to somehow say कि हमें वापस बुलाइए, and they are trying to put that onus on you.
और जब बुलाते हैं तो then our requests are also made public. Well, it puts us out there in the open transparently that we are a channel that wants to carry every side of the story, whether it is the Supreme Court side in the Sisodia case or it is the Aam Aadmi Party side. On the other hand, as far as Mahua Moitra is concerned, well, the jury is out. The case is tomorrow. The ethics panel appearance is on the 2nd of November. But the biggest question tonight that ladies and gentlemen, you have to judge is whether the opposition is crying foul. Is it justified? Or does the Supreme Court order today bust all of this crying and political vendetta charge? That's the question. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.